Welcome to Tarot 42. So earlier I had a little because I got a really wonky download last night, and it's probably going to ruffle some feathers if anybody sees it, that it triggers, because it was true. Anyway, so I decided I was going to do like a little Four Corners reading, and I'll go ahead and get started, but I do want to move these out of the way, northeast, southwest, but I'm going to move these out of the way and start here. Okay, so our first card is Wishbone. A wish is granted. Hopefully that's, I can't tell. Yep, okay. A wish is granted. So something that you've been wishing for, perhaps? We'll keep going. I feel a little off, I think, because of what I was woke up with, or couldn't go to bed, I guess, more so. Like, I think I started to doze off a little bit last night, and then I was like, bing, can't go to sleep. Why? Oh, well, that's a nice message. But anyways, there's a short there if you want to go watch. I'm not going to drudge through it because it made me feel yucky. Not because I feel yucky, but it just it was very draining because I felt like it was a very important message to share with somebody. Somebody needed it. It's a pretty ladybug and sweet pea. It says happiness. So far, that's pretty positive. A wish is granted and happiness. However, always be careful what you wish for. Growth. Someone is growing. Whoop. No glare. Spirit guardian of summer. Expansion. Apple tree or peach tree? Looks like it could be either or. Because I think both trees are kind of similar in the way they grow, aren't they? Depending on the kind of apple. But it looks like it could be a peach or apple. And that kind of looks like a, what is it, meadowlark, maybe? Or something else. Hard to say. I could probably look in the book and see if it says specifically what. Alright, we're nearing the end there on the screen, so I'll try to keep it. Gentle gardener. That's a lot of like green earthy stuff going on there. Gentle gardener. Someone watching over the planters, the caretakers. And Hecate. The in-between. There we go. I gotta figure out what way to move my hand. Very nice. Someone is in between things. But it looks like whatever direction, you've got a couple of directions that you might be able to go in. Growth and replenishing and expansion is one, but thoughtful movement. You don't want to make hasty decisions, and you want to think about where you've been and where you're potentially headed and learn from the past and move forward into something that will be a growth experience. All right, your ancestor is the warrior. Be fearless and stand strong. So there could be a little bit of a, what surface level appears to be some struggle, but it's ultimately only going to make you stronger. A warrior can handle many things thrown at them, and they're strategic, and they don't move hastily. They plan their movements carefully. Stay over here. I can't tell if that's off. I don't think it is. Okay, so let's see what the next card is. Uncovering treasure. Beneath the surface lies great bounty. So when you do dig beneath the surface, you can often find treasure that you didn't know existed there because it was hidden away. You can't really see that, can you? Move that up a little bit. There you go. And our final card is the Wheel of Creation, which actually that's a really cool, it's a really cool card to come out. So, okay, so we got a lot of stuff that's happening. I'll put all these up here. Will it fit? Yeah, it'll fit. Will that fit? Yeah, almost. But we can squeeze that under there so you can see everything. And this is for, I guess I said 4 corners aren't really northeast, southwest, are they? Because that just, it's like a cross. I think maybe I was thinking maybe a directional thing too, but we'll go with it. Northeast, southwest / 4 corners. I guess it could be squared up a different way, right? So it's like there's a lot of like growth and creation, discovery, strengthening, wisdom. Don't be too hard on yourself if there is anything that causes what seems like a delay or a challenge. All challenges teach us something. And be prepared to, I guess, start fresh in this. Just be thoughtful about and recall all the things you learned from your past. So I'm going to go ahead and set these aside and we'll move on to the next part. East. All right, let's see what we got. All right, so our first card is bag, something important such as a new job or race. So maybe this new growth is going to bring you into something new that will bring more money or a different job title. That could be a different job title. Where are we at? I got that there. Where's my hand on the screen? Yeah, you can see that. Ooh, we got the fox and the ivy. Adaptability. So whatever this new job is going to require some adaptability, and we did see that with that thoughtful planning and new. We got keep going. So if I guess again it goes back to the other cards, the pile of cards, is you might see something that looks like a struggle or a challenge, but this urges you to keep going because you are clearly, I believe, headed in the right direction. And we have listening. It's funny. I was just watching a video and there was something to do with a person who wasn't really listening. Well, they were listening, but they weren't hearing what was actually said. And so what they ultimately did is they took, this has multiple meanings, but they would take, they were cherry picking words out of a statement to avoid essentially answering the question that was presented. So they matched a word that wasn't appropriate to the situation they were discussing, but that was not how the original delivery was given. They weren't hearing what the person was saying. They were listening to respond, and so they cherry-picked some words and responded, to which the other person, rightfully so, clarified, no, that is not what I said. This is what I said. So maybe there's something there. If someone is not hearing you or listening to you, or they're listening to respond, it potentially is important for you to stand up for yourself in a respectful way, as respectful as you can be. And if you can't be respectful in that moment, maybe just walk away. We've all been there, though, where, our tempers get the best of us or some other circumstance. long, stressful day or stressful week, or too much, you need alone time, maybe. And maybe that alone time, maybe you should be listening, meditating with some meditation music, frequency, chanting, or really any music. I mean, if it makes you feel good. I have a problem with modern music in the capacity that I don't believe that it all has high vibrational sound or lyrics. Anything that's derogatory, and I don't mean this in a sissy nanny way, because there's times for that music, right? There's times for that music. When you're trying to like sit with yourself and be with yourself and meditate or whatever, I don't think that some of Eminem's earlier stuff would be most appropriate. You know what I mean? Because I like Eminem. I love his stuff. But that's probably not appropriate meditation music, right? Neither is Snoop Dogg's older stuff. I don't even know if he has any newer stuff. I think he's been doing so much other stuff that he hasn't been doing that so much. Maybe yes. I don't know. But I like his older stuff. I'm old as shit. I've said it like in multiple videos. But so maybe find something a little less low vibration, because some of that stuff is pretty low vibrational if you consider the lyrics. Heavy metal music to me has a low vibration sound quality. I like metal music, don't get me wrong, but there's a difference between the music in Hero of the Day by Metallica versus Enter Sandman Metallica, both of which I enjoy and I like the sound. But again, I'm not going to listen to that if I'm trying to meditate. In fact, I probably shouldn't listen to anything that involves any kind of lyrics unless it is chanting, because I am a music person. And so I hear everything when I listen to music. So I hear the drums, I hear the bass, I hear the synth, I hear all of it. And it's like it's hard to explain. It's almost like I visually hear it. So I am not that person that can listen to that kind of stuff when I'm trying to like, it's hard for me sometimes even to listen to classical music because, again, it's a visual hearing experience. And I don't really know how to explain that. If you know, you know, I guess. That's the best way that I can explain it. It's literally like, okay, well, I can't say. It's literally like seeing the notes or whatever. It's the beats radiate off of my skin in a way. I don't really know. I mean, in and of itself, listening to music is kind of a meditation, but it's a different kind of meditation, I guess. How about that? Ancient oak spirit is strength. I do like that. That goes really well with the keep going and the warrior and this path that you're on, that someone is on. I mean, it could be me. I don't know. It could be any of us. I try to read openly and pick up on any kind of, feeling I have. What is this? Bestia or Hestia? I don't know. The letters are kind of, let me look it up. See? In the book. There's this card 19. I'll leave it there while I find it. I think it's Hestia. 19. I need 21. Hestia with an H is what that is. It's pretty. Oh, I mean, all these cards are pretty, but I like that one. Being at home in your own skin. So maybe look into your domestic environment, making sure that you're surrounded by beautiful things that have special positive meaning for you. So creating that meditation type area is you want to feel comfortable. You want to feel relaxed in your space. Even if you find like, look, I know it sounds silly, but I can't remember what movie it was that I watched. It was a Christian movie. Um, and it was about a woman who her marriage was falling apart. Her husband was having an affair. And she was asking for guidance. What should I do? She talked to her preacher, and she created. He said, find you like a prayer room. It might not have even been a movie. It might have been like one of those like short docu series, but where it's like they reenact everything or whatever. But anyways, she made this prayer room, and every day she would go in, and anytime she was feeling anxiety or feeling like she was going to lose her temper with her husband because of the things that he was doing, and she would go in there, and finally she reached this place of like peace where, and it doesn't matter what religion, right? There's a bigger purpose behind that message of when you spend time, whether it's in meditation, Eastern religion, or Christian, or whatever religious or spiritual belief, there's things that you can do to sit with yourself, meditate, pray, whatever it is. You're spending time in your sanctuary that's connected to your creator, whatever creator you believe it is, right? And she became so at peace with everything that eventually her husband realized that he was the one making the mistake, that he was the one that was the problem, and that he needed to follow her leadership, and things became better. Things were remedied as much as that situation can be remedied, but I believe she was at peace even with his infidelity by the time they found common ground to where they could start working on their relationship. It takes a very special person to forgive something like that, because you literally have to forgive that in order to continue that relationship. But the other side of that coin is that the person that did the bad deed, the cheating or whatever, has to be willing to never do that again, and to recognize the triggers within themselves to prevent themselves from letting that go away, and having self-mastery in that, at least, to recognize and to not act on our lower. Because here's like, sex is sex. It's a, we have turned it into something very low vibrational. It's all about self-pleasure, or, I mean, some people even have like that thing where they have to pleasure others and they're not worried about themselves, whatever. But, excuse me, either way, we've turned it into something more low vibrational than what it was intended for. It's also, I mean, for mammals, which we are a mammal, it's supposed to be about reproduction. So the actual like climax wasn't intended to be necessarily a physical sensation. That was just what it was physically. But that, again, our physical bodies aren't our spiritual light being, if that makes sense. So there's a whole different kind of climax that happens spiritually within, and that goes off into a whole nother thing. So how did I get on that subject? Whatever. We were talking about meditating, and then I talked about that scenario and yada, yada, yada. Okay, so meditating, making sure your surroundings are peaceful. So you can even make, that's what I was going to say, you can take just a small closet space if you don't have a big area, or space is limited where you do live. You know, maybe you can find like a little closet or a little nook, or just somewhere that you can take time for yourself. Even if you just need to go outside. It's like 3,000 degrees outside. I know, it's freaking hot. But if you can find somewhere nice and cool in the mornings or in the evenings, or if you can find a place inside the house or an apartment or whatever that can just be for you, even if it's just for 15-20 minutes. Just, maybe just try to have something that's relaxing to you visually as well, because we can't always just sit with our eyes shut hoping that something isn't gonna, thoughts are gonna be thoughts. Let them float through, let them be what they are. And when you open your eyes, you want to feel, there's a stupid TV. And I was trying to get myself away from modern whatever. So, okay, the next card is Magic Guardian, Unlock the Magic Within. And I think it's interesting how I kind of went off on that little meditating into, you're on a journey to, strengthen yourself and become more wise and all this other stuff. But, that literally for her, it unlocked this peace that she didn't think she was going to find, because she thought she was, she thought she was doing something wrong, and she wasn't going to be able to do anything or fix anything. But, you are capable. We are all so much more capable than what we realize. So you have that. And remember the other card that, when you dig beneath the surface is where you find treasure. And so when you sit with yourself, you're kind of going on that, you're kind of going on a mission to dig into yourself. So you're discovering these pyramids and these ancient artifacts and these, but it's yourself. You're discovering these things about yourself that, when I was just having this conversation yesterday or the day before, people, they get uncomfortable when they sit with themselves and they can't just be in their own presence because they're so used to the distractions of the world, whether it's other people, places that are noisy and bustling, and just people are incredibly uncomfortable with sitting with themselves. I find to be a pretty common thing in America. I don't mind it. I don't mind the quiet. In fact, I've always said if I won the lottery, I would probably build myself one of those soundproof, probably throw one of those, what do they call them? The pods. Oh, what are they called? Well, it's basically like, I'm having a brain fart. Oh. I can't think of it. Well, anyways, that's what I would do. I'm okay with that. I would not go crazy like a lot of people have gone crazy in those 100% dark and 100% soundproof. Like, nothing would be more of a dream come true to me than that. To be able to just go in there for 30 minutes, an hour, whatever, a day, a week, I'd be okay with it. As long as I had access to using the restroom and stuff, I'd be all right with it. Wouldn't bother me one little bit. The world is too noisy. The noise in it. It's too noisy. It's too... That's why we're disconnected. It's why we feel off. It's why we are angry. It's why... It has a lot to do with the state. We just can't shut up. We just can't shut the fuck up. Ever. Which is ironic. Next card. And if you got it, you got it. Impasse. Reflect and redirect your energy. Okay. So if you are feeling the struggles, and if you feel like you're not getting anywhere with the meditation or whatever, just remember you need to be adaptable. Where's it? Adaptable, like the fox, and just it's a learning curve on how to, let's take anger for example, is, if you've been an angry person, when you're trying to retrain yourself to not have knee-jerk reactions to things, then you can move forward and the next time, I almost did that thing that I did the last time. I don't want to do that again. So I'm learning not to do those things. So let me redirect my energy. All right. And the last card on this pile is the third eye chakra. So there's a lot of purple on that. I just realized. We all, I think, are familiar with what this indicates is your third eye opening. This gives you more clarity. You see through, you start to see through the facade, and you realize that things are not as they seem. For instance, we don't require all the noise and all the distractions that we have. We think we do, because that's the narrative we've agreed to and created and perpetuated, right? So we think we need to. But when you do awaken, you start to see that while it doesn't matter, because as you awaken, you can remove yourself from that, but people can't necessarily remove themselves for that because they're not open and they don't see what kind of damage that could be doing to our spiritual nature, right? And so I think you're going to start seeing that as well as you're doing this meditation and you're growing and becoming adaptable to it, because it is a, I think back to when I'm very introverted now. It doesn't mean I'm shy. I mean, sometimes I have moments where I'm just, no, I don't want to talk to these people because I feel shy. But that's a rare thing. It's not so much that I'm shy. It's just I observe and I'm quiet and I don't need to speak any more than what I feel I need to. And I don't like it when people try to force me to talk. It's not natural. It's okay to not just automatically respond and be quick. But I maybe people think that that's clever to be able to respond quickly. I think reflection is important when you're speaking with others so that they see that, oh, they're really engaged in this conversation with me. I really like that. When you start forcing people to say, or if they get mad because you say or don't say what they want to hear or whatever, again, there's too much noise and there's too much chatter. So I think back on all that time that, because I was extroverted when I was younger, extremely extroverted, and I could make friends everywhere I go, which is the complete opposite now. I'm sure I could still make friends, but I'm very selective because people have energy that transfers and all that jazz. And mine easily moves back and forth. I haven't quite learned how to control the keeping other people's energy out of my field. And I feel it. I feel music, right? Okay. So I think back on that and I think, oh my God, what a chaotic mess I was back then. Or I feel like I was back then, right? So that's this pile. So far, it seems to be moving along with the other pile. Let's see if this next pile, I gotta move my leg. Let's see if the next pile is, there we go. Hopefully my big fat head wasn't in the way. Okay. Got the flute. Disappointment in a friend or lover. Okay, so that can happen actually with when you're growing and you're doing this it's something, it's actually kind of maybe a warning that people should more frequently, I've heard people give the warning. Your life will change drastically when you start going within. You aren't as reliant upon your outer influences, right? And there are going to be some people in your life that weren't really there for you. They were there for the good time. It's like an addict, you know, oh, I got all these friends. No, you don't have all these friends. You have people that are there because you have something they want and think that they need. Or, you know, an alcoholic, they're there for your booze and they're there for the good time until the whole thing gets broken up because everybody got into a stupid, nasty ass fight, right? They're not there because they're your friend. Because if they only show up when there's alcohol and a party, or just alcohol in general, or drugs, or whatever it is, if that's the only time they're showing up, they're not for you. So you're going to see, and that is, you know, that is chaotic. That life is chaotic if you use those things as an example. But so is a person who, say, is just, I don't know, I'm trying to think of other addictions. So I don't really classify. You know, you got shopping addictions, you have hoarding, you have, I mean, there's a number of sex addictions, you have a number of addictions that can be, but I'm kind of talking about the ones that involve many people, and you think you have all these these friends and they're there for you and they love you, and then when you decide to stop drinking or stop doing the drugs, they stop coming around you when they realize, oh, well, that person's on the straight and narrow. Oh, how boring is that? Like, I don't want anything to do with that. And then, you know, so it's eye-opening. And true colors can come out, and you start to see, you know, and that is disappointing. It's very disappointing, especially if you have a really, someone you consider a close friend, and they're like, oh, you're so boring now. Like, when I first met you, you were fun and full of this and that and whatever, and they don't want to hear or understand that that's because I was trying to avoid parts of myself and wanted to find a distraction from that. They don't want to hear that. They don't care. And somebody may, but that's not going to be this person that you're going to be disappointed in. Because when they're there for you, they're there for you. Thick and thin, good, bad, ugly, whatever it is. Okay. So the next card is the horse and the bluebell, modest fortitude. So when I think of this, strength. I think you're gonna need the strength, and it did say, where's that other card? Adaptability, keep going. What was the other? Strength. Reflect, redirect. And then on the other pile, where'd it go? That was the one I was thinking of. The warrior. The warrior. You think about like gaming and like things like that. Like they have all these like different traits and characteristics and stuff. And fortitude is often one that comes in somewhere. But that's kind of what I think about there. Like it's going to require modest. So you don't want to be all like huffy puffy, like, look at me, I'm being strung through this mess, blah, 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 blah. There's no reason to like wail on people that aren't getting it done, because it's just, people wake up when they're going to wake up. I wish more people would wake up, but I see that there is more people waking up to the reality that we live in, right? It's not actually what it is. It's nonsense. All right, so the next card is Flow. That's a very fiery card, isn't it? Fire and water. And the moon. I'm assuming that's supposed to be the moon and not the sun. But to be the, excuse me about that. That was that not being able to go to sleep last night. Very fiery energy, like a phoenix rising kind of vibe to me. And then you got the water, and you got the moon, and you got the mountains. Like, this is like all the elements. So, which, I mean, makes sense because we need, all the elements work together, right? Earth, wind, air, or earth. Fire, water, earth, air. I had to say it a different way. And then, of course, you have space or whatever the fuck it is. I kind of question that myself, too, because, yeah. Anyways, so flow. And the more you flow with everything and the more that you just woosah through everything, I think it'll be great. Rescue. This could be, looks a lot like they've dwindled themselves down so much to the bare core, and they just have a few resources left. Whether this be yourself rescuing yourself from you, or you could be receiving some kind of help and assistance from whether it be another person, angels, ancestors, divine intervention could be coming in. Excuse me for a moment. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, Starry Night. Acceptance. That's a pretty card. So at some point during all of this, you're going to come to a point where you're going to need to accept what is. What is different and new about your life, because there's going to be things that you leave behind. And that is going to be starkly different, more than likely. This seems like a stark, black and white kind of reading, like your life was busy, 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 chaos, 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 which we think is normal, right? When we're in that world. And you're going to come out of it and you're going to think something's wrong. There's something, this isn't right. It's different. It's so different, when really, and reality, the chaos was not normal. That this peace that you're feeling is so uncomfortable that you think something's wrong. And now all of your friends are gone too. Or, well, not all of them, but you know what I mean? Like all these, supposed friends and people, so you're going to have to reach a point where you reach acceptance to that so that you can continue your journey. And our next card is Ma'at, is truth. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know. I could be wrong. Ma'ati. Sometimes the books give ways to pronounce it, and some of them don't. Truth. Again, truth is, it's a hard pill to swallow. And when you accept the truth, it makes it easier to keep moving forward and flowing with the process, Shaolin Master, be graceful in movement and action. Being graceful is always good. But it is very important to be graceful in everything that we do. But in your movement and in your actions, we can oftentimes get tripped up if we aren't thoughtful and careful. And then again, it goes back to that wisdom and digging beneath the surface and being patient with yourself through this growth process, because it does take quite a bit. It's not an easy path, and there's always going to be something that you can improve upon as you move forward, because we're human, and we've spent lifetimes and thousands of years developing our bad habits, right? And having this massive control group over the top of us that have just kind of kept us in this, like, we have to do it this way, we have to do it that way, because this is the way the world is. And it's really not, because if we all quit our jobs tomorrow, guess what are you going to do? What are you gonna do? And nobody's gonna give a shit. Nobody's gonna give a shit. Like, they're gonna go do and pursue things themselves until we get to do things the way that they're meant to be. Like, it's possible. I mean, it would just require every normal, not trying to control the world person to just be like, okay, I'm done. I'm done playing this game. This is a yucky game, and I don't like how it makes me feel. I don't like how it takes me away from my family and my children or my loved ones. I don't like this game. You know what I mean? So we could do it. We just got to do it. I feel like I need to move those over a little bit more. There we go. Better. Can we still see everything? I think maybe I need to do. Yeah. No. I don't know. I can't see what I'm doing there. Okay. Unknown territory. See? You are exactly where you need to be. And it will be unknown territory because you're going to be in a whole different place. You're going to be taken out of this chaos and this false reality. But it's going to put you exactly where you need to be so that you're on your path. How can any of us be on our right path with the way things are currently? You know what I mean? And I guess there has to be a death and a tower, right? Like a tower and a death, I guess I should say it that way. In order to reach the end of something and the beginning of something else, right? So maybe these are just the birthing pains of us finally being, you know what? We ain't got to do that. We ain't got to do that. We could do it this way instead, where everybody wins, right? Because not everybody's winning the way that they've got it. And they know that. All right, new moon. New moons are about setting intentions, and it's like all new. It's all new. It's to build upon. You can create this new. Now we've come out of this and into something new and beautiful. So let's move on, because this video is at 40 what? 42? 42, 48? All right, one more pie. We got whoopsh, stork. News of a birth or a new business opportunity. So you're getting all kinds of like new stuff. Whatever you were doing or are doing currently that you're like, it might be time to look into something else. Is all I'm saying. I don't know. I'm trying to gauge where it might be on screen. There we go. We'll go with that. All right, we got the snake and fern starting over. Starting over doesn't mean bad things, and you keep getting new. So maybe we're moving into the fourth corner, moving into the new world that you're creating. Look at that. Can't even make it up. Success, which is another very fiery symbol, isn't it? Fire and air. And little coins. That means, yeah, that's a great card. So it's going to be a successful endeavor. Making a choice. You will be making a choice on this journey that's important and significant. And it looks like, let me look a little closer here. Okay, well, it kind of looks like one's like a super sunshiny fun and one looks cold, adventurous. Like, this reminds me of Hobbiton, if you're familiar with The Lord of the Rings and Middle Earth. It reminds me of the places where the hobbits lived. Surely you know that. And then that reminds me of where they're adventuring to go destroy something that is potentially going to take this option away altogether, right? That's kind of what that says to me. But the adventure helped them grow. Well, it's on the other piles, but sometimes we have to do hard things to get the good things or keep the good things, right? So that's kind of what that says to me. There. Dragonfly spirit. Change. That's pretty incredible. I mean, the way that it's falling, right? Change. You've got new. You've got starting over. You've got successes. You've got making choices. You'll have choices to make. I mean, some people don't have a choice to make, or they think they don't. Anyways. But if they're in a situation where their choices are very slim. All right. Sharadwin. Potential. There's always potential in each and every one of us to become this new thing that's marvelous and wonderful. So and it can also speak to the potential growing inside of you for even more, bigger than just moving out of a situation that you were in before. You want to move into a whole new area, because as you grow, you're going to have these opportunities and these things arise in your life that are just going to keep empowering you into a higher realm or a higher energy field, or however you want to put that. You're opening those higher dimensions up within yourself the more you change and adapt and move and flow and grow and make the right choices. But that requires wisdom. But the wisdom is what you acquire as you're moving along, right? Peacekeeper, let go of the need to be right. That's something that so many people, myself included, a lot of people need to learn. Sometimes it's okay to just let whoever think that they're right. Okay, you're right, I'm wrong. No need to fight about it, right? The truth eventually comes out, no matter what circumstance it is, no matter how long it takes. The truth always reveals its ugly little face. Well, it's not an ugly face, but the people that don't want the truth to come out think it's an ugly face. So maybe you'll be, and I think that maybe that the fortitude, modest was the word I was looking for. The modest fortitude kind of goes together, I think. Not even kind of, it just really does. It just, adaptability, like I said, sometimes we need to let people, okay, if that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. In this process, what I have also noticed is you become lighter, but sometimes people fall into this, like, the spiritual guru trap where they think that nothing matters. Everything's just the way it is. It doesn't matter ultimately. Like, but I mean in such a way that they kind of like lose the childlike spirit within them and the empathy for others, and you know what I mean? Like they think that everybody's problem isn't a problem, and they don't care about anybody else's perspective, but they put that in a fucked up spiritual way that's not spiritual at all. And if you're spiritual, you see that, and it's like you've got to find a gentle way to let this person know. But even when you do try to let them know that that's not very enlightened, they flip out, and nobody wants to deal with that. And so then you're just like, okay, whatever. You're right. I'm gonna go now. Go on thinking about what you think. Joy and delight, open your heart to joy. So that's what I was saying. Sometimes we lose those parts when we're on a spiritual journey, that we forget to leave ourselves connected to the rest of everything. We're connected, whether you like it or not. If you hate somebody, you're connected to them, right? We're all made of the things the universe is made of. And what requires life to grow. We all have it within us, so we're all literally connected. There's no escaping it. Even the oxygen you breathe, we're all connected. We're breathing the same oxygen, unless something has happened or this world doesn't exist at all because we're in a simulation. We're still breathing the same air that King Henry VIII was breathing, or Anne Boleyn, or whoever. We're breathing that air, right? Okay, so we're all connected. Don't forget that. Keep your connections, be open to other people, because you can fall into a trap where you get so used to being alone that you're like, I could do this forever. I've done that. I am that, right? But I still love people, and I still love to like interact with cool people. Like, if you're a good person, you're a good person. I can feel that. If you're a yucky person, or maybe you're having a yucky day, I can feel that, right? And there's reasons I can feel that, and they're not natural reasons. I mean, part of it is, yes, but the other part isn't, right? It just got, what was natural became unnaturally targeted to grow more than other. I don't know how to explain. Because I don't like talking about all of my business. And I don't want people to think it's about me, but it's like, if you haven't ever had any kind of like life experience, I definitely don't think you should be doing this for a living unless you really have a honed in gift. I think you should live life a little bit before you start like doing some of that other stuff, because it is, but I think a lot of light workers have had a lot of trauma throughout their lives. And I don't mean like breaking a nail. Yes, that could be traumatic to somebody who's never experienced anything traumatic. That could be the most painful thing they've ever experienced. It could be the most horrible thing that they've ever experienced up until that point, right? So you can't like be like, ugh. I mean, sometimes I get annoyed with things because, I'm old as shit. I've been through some shit. And the stuff I hear people like crying and whining about right now, I'm just like, you're gonna be all right. This is the worst you got to worry about. You're gonna be all right, I promise, right? So there's that. And then the last card, oh, there's a little froggy on it. Stillness. There's a lot to be said for that card right there. Or a lot that doesn't need to be said, excuse me. But I'll say it anyways. Stillness is a requirement to discover those parts of yourself, but stillness allows for things to unfold naturally, as they should. So yeah, that's a pretty good reading. I think you should keep on moving forward, keep on growing, keep on, persevere through anything that seems like a struggle, that seems like a difficult time. Even if it seems like you're losing friends and family, those people, love them and let them go. If they're meant for you, they will be with you. So, love y'all. Have a great evening.